Hey guys, Jordan back after a holiday hiatus, here with a late to the party first impressions brought to you by the Steam Winter Sale. Not that they sponsor me or anything, it's just that without the sale I probably would not have bought Sleeping Dogs. But because Steam sales are as crazy as Tom Cruise pooping in a Dixie cup, it found its way into my inventory. Seriously, thanks to the Steam sale, I found this $50 PC game for the pants-twitchingly low price of $4.49. I'm not a financial wizard, but when I see a 91% sale, I usually assume a disgruntled employee has gone bonkers with a label maker. So I did what anyone would do and bought it quickly before the error was corrected. Turns out I may have been correct because 3 hours later it was back at 66% off like it was supposed to be. So to the small group of us that snagged the price before it got yanked, I quote the great Alan Rickman when I say, by Grapthar's hammer, what a savings. So what is Sleeping Dogs? Well, it's an open world undercover crime game set in Hong Kong. And as far as undercover crime gang stories go, Sleeping Dogs is covering all the bases so far. We've got an outsider trying to gain access to an exclusive group of badasses.
This is Wei Shen.
Criminal organizations engaging in turf wars.
You make sure people understand that I'm in control, not Dog Eyes.
Then, of course, the outspoken member of your crew that doesn't quite trust you.
I'm watching you, new guy.
Wow, that couldn't have been more bland and generic without him actually using the word protagonist. The story has you taking missions from both the triads and the cops, trying to weed out organized crime in the process, and you do so by kicking the crap out of just about everybody on the screen. Except for that guy in the middle there. That's you. Don't kill that guy. Even though the combat is controlled by only 3 buttons, there is a pretty large variety of ways to beat the shit out of people depending on the order of the presses and whether or not you hold the buttons down or just tap them. It feels incredibly satisfying, especially when you start unlocking moves like the leg break. And yeah, there's gunfighting as well, but it doesn't happen all that often, and it's pretty standard third-person shooter fare, complete with cover mechanics and bullet time. And it's serviceable, but nothing to really get super excited about. But honestly, that's fine, because the game focuses way more on hand-to-hand combat, and that's where it truly shines. You can also just do random favor missions for the citizens of Hong Kong.
Hey, buddy, can you help me out?
Which usually involves beating more people up. Seriously, I took a mission involving delivering someone's lunch money that saw me assault and possibly kill 11 people.
This is for Susan's lunch.
Thanks.
And also there's 11 bodies on your sidewalk. But it's all okay when the combat is as different and satisfying with every interaction, which it seems to be so far. And then you have the missions that have you jumping from car to car like a certified badass. Seriously, I've always wished for this ability to be in the GTA games, and if it ever is, I hope they do it as well as Sleeping Dogs does. You can do it at any time to any vehicle, just for shits and giggles if you want. Doesn't make it any less awesome. And of course, since it's a game set in China for an American audience, everyone speaks perfect English and just occasionally throws in a Chinese word to remind you that it's a strange and foreign place.
That home Garton is gonna get what's coming in.
So those elements are firmly in place, but honestly I'm a little shaky about the details of the morality of the main character so far. I mean, on one hand, Wei Shen seems to be upset about the things that he's forced to do during the cutscenes, but on the other hand, you have the extremely questionable and morally reprehensible things the game has you doing within minutes of the opening cinematic, including extortion, robbery, and oh yeah, lots and lots of murder. Like, a pretty significant amount of murder. I don't know about Hong Kong, but around where I live, if a cop so much as discharges his gun, it makes the news and there's an investigation while the officer in question is on administrative leave. So color me a little surprised when 1 minute I'm watching a cutscene about how I'm a cop.
Oh, for God's sake, Tang, he's one of us.
And not 5 minutes later, a game tutorial is showing me what buttons to press so I can grind off a guy's face in an air conditioner. I mean, I understand that he's undercover and there's different rules, but come on. If you're gonna tell me a story about Wei Shen, a man tortured by his emotions over the things he's seen in the cinematics, maybe don't have that same guy nonchalantly using an air conditioner to slice a dude's face up like one of those roast beef cutters at Arby's. I guess Law & Order in Hong Kong is a little less black and white and a little more black and very, very dark gray. Also, I feel the need to point out that when Wei Shen unlocks a new kung fu move, he tests it out in his dojo on what appear to be children. In fact, I'm pretty sure I remember a cutscene in which the leader of the dojo confirms that these are kung fu students, none of which look more than 15 years old. Can you imagine in sophomore gym class that the PE teacher comes in and is like, okay kids, for today's class, the cops are gonna come in and kick your ass for a while. If this is what life was like in Hong Kong, somebody should call Child Protective Services or like the UN or something, 'cause that's fucked up. Not that I'm really complaining though, because what the story may lack in moral fiber, the gameplay more than makes up for in pure, unrestricted badassery. The gameplay mechanics feel familiar to any of those who have played Rocksteady's Batman games, in that it's got a free-flowing combat system that makes kicking 6 faces in less than a minute feel like second nature with a little bit of practice. The combat in Sleeping Dogs feels a little bit more difficult than the Batman games, however, but in a good way. It makes the button mashing a lot less successful and teaches you to have rhythm when you're handing thugs their asses. Now the game does qualify as a free-roaming GTA type game, so I know that everyone out there is asking the same question, which is obviously, Can I run around in my underwear with a luchador mask stabbing people? And strangely the answer is yes. Maybe I just haven't played into it enough, but the story so far is pitching itself as kind of a more serious tone, so I was a little surprised and more than delighted at the discovery of the crazed, stabby, lunatic costume combinations available. Your outfit stays with you even during cutscenes, which can do wonders for the context of conversation. You'll notice how conversations about undercover cop business take on a more depraved vibe when one of the characters is in what appears to be Nacho Libre's pajamas.
What are you doing here? I'm sure you and Penjo have a lot of top-secret backdoor business to attend to.
Wait, you okay, man? You look like someone took a shit on your face.
I need right now is taking a sticky Red Bull up my ass.
Okay, so I may have cherry-picked the context on those clips, but I think you understand my point. Also, another heads up about wardrobes. If you decide to wear the undershirt, a lot of cutscenes early on are going to turn into episodes of 3 Asian men in wife beaters talk aggressively at each other.
I work my ass off all day, so fuck off and grow up.
That's actually a show on NBC. Airs at Thursdays, 10/9 Central. Actually, that's a lie, but if it were, would you be surprised? I mean, after watching the previews for 1600 Pen, I have to believe that NBC will try anything. I saw one preview for the show that was so painfully unfunny that I actually had to turn away at the embarrassment of how terrible it is. It was not just unfunny, it was anti-funny. Its funny rating was so low that it actually came out on the deep sadness scale on the other side. It was so unfunny that after the embarrassment wore off, I became immediately angry, and in my blind rage, I started kicking and punching until I blacked out. When I woke up, I found I'd killed 7 people and 3 puppies. Are you happy, NBC? Those puppies could have gone to a good home. And I'm sure those people had families or something. So yeah, Sleeping Dogs is pretty good. If you caught it on the Steam Winter Sale and haven't started it up yet, I highly recommend it. For all the others, maybe wait until the spring sale. Or buy it at full price, you know, if you're stupid. Or rich, or stupidly rich. Anyways, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and subscribe to Horseless Productions for more commentaries, rants, machinimas, and movies.